Hi everyone, Vega here. In today's video I thought we might revisit the Zeta Reticuli system, which is a system of two sun-like stars that's been very famous in folklore, particularly for the alien abductions and UFO abductions, but also in the aliens and alien films, which made the system particularly an imaginary planet of LV-426, which is where obviously in the alien novels the colony is situated. And I thought basically what we'd do is we'd have a look around at the Zeta stars, which you can see here. This one here is Zeta 2 and this one is Zeta 1, so we're roughly in the Zeta Reticuli system at the moment. Have a look around at what you might see from that system, and if there are aliens in the system, which some people claim, rightly or wrongly, what they might see. And obviously the first things that spring to mind is this beautiful star here, which is of course the star of Canopus, which in the stars of Zeta Reticuli, as you can see, has an apparent magnitude of minus 0.87, so it's actually slightly brighter than it is in our own skies. And then as we carry on down, we've got this beautiful galaxy, of course, which is the Large Magellanic Cloud, and of course there's the Small Magellanic Cloud. So the first conspiracy theories that come to mind is that somehow Canopus and the Large Magellanic Cloud are related, maybe to the grey race of aliens. Of course, Canopus is famous for the Dune novels, so it's not infamous in its own right. Whether there's a relationship between the bright giant star of Canopus and Zeta Reticuli, well, it remains to be seen. As in the world of conspiracy theories, you do look for points of reflection, which clearly Canopus and the Large Magellanic Cloud from the skies of Earth are quite well aligned with Zeta Reticuli. The stars themselves do a dance around each other. They're approximately 370 astronomical units from each other. As you can see, they do slowly orbit, but each orbit obviously takes quite a long time. The distance between the two stars is at least 3,700 astronomical units, and their orbital period is about 170,000 years. So this is obviously with time speeded up. There's the two Zeta stars in orbit around each other. Should we have a look at what else we might see from the system? Perhaps we can zoom in to one of these stars. This is Zeta 2, which is the larger of the two of the Zeta stars. This is a scene here from the actual film of Alien. I've sort of slightly edited a bit of the starship there, the Sulaco. Obviously in the films, this gas giant you can see here actually called Calpamos in the Zeta 2 Reticuli system. In the Aliens franchise, the planet is actually known as Achernar or LV-426, which is, as I mentioned before, is where the colony was actually based. And you can see here in this picture the moon of LV-426, and in this second picture you can actually see that I've edited in so this is the Zeta 2 star, and you can see sort of more in the distance the Zeta 1 star, which is probably the equivalent brightness as they should be in the movies, which doesn't really depict the stars themselves. And the gas giant itself, Calpamos, is thought to be the fourth planet in the system, a ring gas giant, as we can see here in this depiction. So presumably LV-426 would be one of these moons, although I don't know if this particular image here depicts the Zeta 1 star. It's possible that it's just that the fan creator hasn't really understood the Zeta Reticuli system, although it does look slightly brighter, doesn't it? I'm not sure what that orange blob there or greenish blob is supposed to represent. So if we zoom into the Zeta 2 star, beautiful G dwarf, and if we look, we can see that's Canopus again. As you can see, there's the Zeta 1 star, which at 0.06 light years has an apparent magnitude, as you can see here, of minus 11 from the Zeta 2 star. So pretty bright in each of the skies. It's quite a good depiction there. I think that's literally how bright the stars might look. But perhaps one of the questions is that Zeta's famous for these grey aliens, which is, as you can see here, I mean, that's just a sort of typical depiction, isn't it? They always have these strange black eyes, and they don't really look like a very intelligent species to me. Obviously, human beings have clothes, don't we? We have cars and all kinds of things, but these greys are what people tend to think are these species that have been abducting people over the years. Now, if we go back and look back at the sun from Zeta Reticuli, Okay, there's the sun there from looking at from the Zeta 2 star with an apparent magnitude of 520. As you can see, it's just another dot really in the skies of Zeta Reticuli. It's not somewhere that a species of creature that perhaps hasn't even invented clothes, maybe, or maybe they've moved past clothes. I don't really know exactly. The sun's certainly not a star that stands out, is what I'm saying. So, I mean, look at this one here. That one's Capella. It's always Capella, isn't it, when we have a look on this space engine, which is quite amusing. But obviously Capella is a very obvious star. Another bright one there. That's Polaris, so looking literally northwards. If we were to take Earth's geometrics, or maybe the Pleiades, you'd expect that an alien civilization, they're possibly not going to be looking at a star like our sun, unless of course they are as advanced as us, or possibly even more advanced that they'll almost certainly know about us. But not on first glance does anything seem out of the ordinary from the Zeta 2 star, at least. Of course, we must bear in mind that the Zeta Reticuli system is around 39 light years away, so it is possible that radio waves, television, any kind of light signals in the last 100 or so years could have reached Zeta Reticuli by then, although I'm fairly sure that some of the original alien abduction stories began in the 50s, and so the truth is that in the 1950s we only had, if you take 40 years before that leaves us at 1910. So if there were radio signals coming from Earth, they were very, very weak and few and far between at that point in time. Although curiously, the first radio waves were sent in 1865, according to this, although the first wireless radio signal across the Atlantic was in 1901. So in some ways, the alien abduction stories do fit the distance of Zeta Reticuli from Earth, although of course you've then got the problem that once they've received these signals, that they still have to arrive from Zeta Reticuli to planet Earth. So presumably the story is that the aliens have been here for much longer, and it's only just recently that people have become aware of it. I'm not aware of any stories of the Greys in the immediate past, although it does say here that grey aliens were first described in the science fiction work of H.G. Wells in the 1890s, which again does sort of fit the timeline, doesn't it? So we've got the invention of radio waves in the 1860s, and then the first grey aliens described in the 1890s by H.G. Wells. Who knows, maybe H.G. Wells received a visit from a Zeta Reticulan, although my understanding of much of H.G. Wells' literature is more based on Martian invasions rather than extra solar system invaders. Let's have a look at some of the folklore. As you can see, when you type in a search engine, the first thing that comes up is the grey aliens, also known as Zeta Reticulans. Roswell Greys, of course, after the place in New Mexico. So again, looking back at Zeta Reticuli, it lies in the direction from our sun. This bright star here is the sun. It sort of lies roughly in the direction of the Large Magellanic Cloud, and Canopus is there, and also the Small Magellanic Cloud. So quite the view. And there's the Zeta stars. That's a real picture here of the Zeta stars. Quite interesting here that it says the two stars are somewhat deficient in metals, having only 60% of the proportion of elements other than hydrogen and helium as compared to the sun. Now, what that might mean, of course, for the Zeta Reticuli system is that the chances of having planets like Earth or rocky planets is slightly less than around the sun. So another one where it's not exactly certain why the Zeta Reticuli stars have received such prominence and fame in first of all the science fiction world and also the world of conspiracy theories. Personally, my own viewpoint is, again, it's like with human being development, we're almost at the point now where we're going to begin to digitize ourselves. So the reality is that the human body, for me personally, has a limited time frame left before we can really just upload our consciousness into more computerized creatures or systems. So an alien race coming from a place like Zeta Reticuli, which is like 37 light years away, has the technology to bridge that gap, which is quite incredible really, yet doesn't appear to have the technology to assert their biological limitations, which for me is a bit of a contradiction. But there you go, that's Zeta Reticuli and some of the conspiracy theories, a bit of the science fiction folklore too. Hope you've enjoyed the video. I think we'll wrap it up there. Take really good care of yourselves, your friends and family, look after those well, and I'll see you on the next one.